Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at lulu.com today. One of my viewers wanted to know how they could deal with adversity, hardship, and burnout. Now, these are three subjects I have a lot of experience in, and the answer that I have to give the viewer is that they have to focus on what they want if they want to overcome adversity, hardship, and burnout. Because the thing that's going to keep you motivated as related to overcoming adversity and hardship is the goal that you want to pursue, and the thing that's going to keep you from getting burnt out is focusing on that goal that you want to pursue. Now, over the course of my life, I've had to deal with a lot of adversity, starting out having a brain aneurysm at the age of 7, dealing with kids saying that I was slow and retarded, and people thinking that I couldn't do anything except get an SSI check. This is what people wanted me to believe that I could aspire to be, and this was a great adversity to me. So I've been dealing with adversity ever since I was about 8 years old, and the thing that kept me focused was my goal of trying to show that I could be capable of doing great things. So I never really focused on the adversity. I always focused on the goals that I had in life. And I ran into a lot of adversity as I was from 8 years old all the way to about 12 years old, where I started running into bullies in junior high school and high school. And I ran into a lot of adversity because I was trying to get my high school diploma. And it got to the point where I was starting to pray to the Most High to change my life. And as I was praying to Him, He facilitated me changing my high school from one toxic high school to another high school. And while some people say that the Taft High School in the Bronx was a toxic high school, I didn't really see it that way because my perspective had changed. And my perspective had changed because instead of me focusing on the adversity I had run into in my previous schools, what I started to focus on were the goals that I wanted to achieve, and the goal that I wanted to achieve was getting my high school diploma. And as I focused on the goal of getting my high school diploma, what I focused on was trying to make sure that I was meeting the RCT competency test, and also going out here and doing well in my classes so that I could finally go out here and get the credits for my diploma. And again, I ran into a lot of adversity because I wasn't able to pass algebra, but I was able to take another math class. But I was able to keep focusing on things because I focused on what I wanted to do. And again, while I faced adversity, the thing that kept me going was the goal that I wanted to achieve. And again, this is how you deal with adversity and hardship. And it can be quite frustrating to deal with adversity and hardship because as you're persevering, you're going to run into a lot of resistance. And as you're running into resistance, what can happen is you can start to get tired, you can start to get frustrated, and sometimes you can start to feel like you're not really going anywhere. But the whole thing is you have to keep trying to persevere because this is how you overcome adversity, and this is how you overcome as related to much of the things that are in your way, because every day that you're working on something, you're making progress, and it can again be very frustrating over time, and eventually sometimes you can feel like you don't want to do things anymore, but you still have to keep going on. This is something that I had learned way back about 15 years ago when I lost my job at the City College of New York at their science library. And the Most High, the day before I lost my job, told me I needed to keep going. And I'm still out here going, trying to build the SJS Direct imprint. And these days, I'm dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of pressures as related to trying to keep things going as related to continuing to do things with the channel and also doing things with building the SJS Direct imprint, because book sales have been kind of slow as of late. And I'm still trying to, again, continue to persevere because my goal is to get to that next level. My goal is to get towards that big break, towards having one of my books be a bestseller. And while I'm out here, I'm still continuing to work. And again, I've had to deal with things like burnout because lately, over the last year, when I was working on the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter, and I was working on the Woman Crisis, I started to get a little tired as related to working on those projects. And as I put a lot of effort into both of those projects, I started to feel a little bit of burnout. But I still continued to persevere even though I was feeling that burnout, because both of those projects, they were a major challenge. It was a lot of work to try to go out here and work the logistics of the Kickstarter and getting all of those books out early as related to fulfillment. And it was also a major challenge working on the Woman Crisis and making sure that all of the facts in the Woman Crisis were consistent with my other books like the Man Crisis, the Simp series books, and other books like The Misadventures of Captain Saban. So it was a lot of work to try to continue putting in that much work on books. Again, I have been working nonstop for over 15 years at this point, and I was getting to the point where I was starting to get tired, because every human being does get tired over time working on multiple projects. But the thing that keeps me going is my passion for sharing information with people like the viewer who asked for this video. And that's the thing that keeps me going basically every day as related to many of the projects that I'm working on, because there are things that I want to do, like I want to do another comic book. I have an ISIS script that I would love to do, but I just don't have the funds to do it yet. And there are things that I want to do again, but the whole thing is I focus on my goals, even though I run into adversity and even though I run into resistance from individuals online and in real life, even though I run into hardship where I don't have a full-time job right now, and I've been into that hardship for over 15 years, struggling to try to find a new full-time job. The thing that keeps me going is the goals that I want to pursue as related to building the SJS Direct imprint, as related to working on the goals that I want to achieve. These are the things that keep me going and the things that allow me to rekindle my flame as related to the passion that I have for my work as related to trying to become a best-selling author and trying to get out here and increase my readership. These are the goals that I have, and again, these are the goals that keep me going. And even though you get periods where you get really tired, sometimes the best thing to do is to take a break from things. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just take a minute and step away from whatever you're working on. And sometimes you just need a breather, and that's something I have been running into as of late. Because as of late, I've been dealing with different things. Like I've had a really bad anxiety attack last week, and I was dealing with that. And I was dealing with the fact that, I was starting to have issues as related to my physical health, as related to the stress of trying to keep doing daily content. But I still continue to persevere, and I continue to push because I want to get to that point where I can go out here and get that big break. I can go out here and have a best-selling book. I can go out here and finally possibly find a way to get my economic situation stabilized. And again, in order for me to get to that point, I have to keep working, and that's what you have to do. And again, sometimes it's okay to take a break here and there so that you can go out here and recharge and be able to come back fresh at things. Because sometimes if you're working for extended periods of time, it can be quite tiring. It can be, quite stressful. And the whole thing is sometimes you have to take a minute and just pull yourself away for a minute. But it doesn't mean that you give up overall. No, it means that you just take a minute and you sit down for a second and give yourself a breather, and you allow yourself to relax for a minute. And that was something that I have a hard time doing because these days, again, I haven't really worked anywhere for an extended period of time. And the only thing that I have is the work that I'm doing here. And the revenue is the only way revenue I get is from the books or from the YouTube. So this is the thing that keeps me pushing. But the goal, again, is my big break. And that's what I've been working on for the last 15 years. But I want the viewer to know that they have to, again, if you want something in life, you've got to go out here and work for it. And yes, you're going to deal with adversity and resistance. And while one way may not work, you can try another. That's how you overcome adversity. That's what I had to do when I was in high school. When I couldn't pass algebra, I had to take another math class. And when I was dealing with hardships as related to the jobs and not being able to get jobs due to the HR brick wall, I had to go out here and find another way to make a living. And I'm still trying to find another way to make a living, and I'm still trying to keep my passion going. It's a lot of work to do this, but the whole thing is you have to hang in there, and that's the advice I give this viewer as related to this topic of how to deal with adversity, hardship, and burnout, because dealing with adversity and hardship, it's a lot of work, but you can't give up because you feel a little burnt out, because if you give up right now, you'll never be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish in life. Now, I'm hoping that this gives the viewer some perspective as related to the subject, and I'm hoping this helps the viewer and encourages them to go out here and do their best, because all of us have to deal with adversity, hardship, and burnout, and we have to go out here and keep pushing, because we have to go out here and do our best until we get called from this world. So if you guys want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct Imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and my other nonfiction, like my men's issues, books like Stop Simpin', The Man Crisis, Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace, and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and The Woman Crisis, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwares, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me continue to make more videos like this that help viewers like the one who requested this one, you can send a donation to the Cash App. And if I know something about that subject, I will make that video for you. Or if you want to continue to support the channel and support projects like I've done, like the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter, you can send a donation to the Patreon or the PayPal, and that helps me be able to create more projects like the John Haynes at Death's Door comic. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes, Godbreaker at online booksellers today.